Stanek presents Group N National Saloon Car Championship Motor Racing. And it's to Cape Town we move for the second round of the Stanek Group N National Saloon Car Racing. If it's anything like the first round held at Swartkorps, we're in for a real hot day of motor racing. With me is the clerk of the course who will be travelling to all the meetings, Brian Hoskins. Things have certainly been happening, Brian. Are we in for the sort of racing we've had at Swartkorps? It seemed to be very hard racing there.
Roger, it was hard racing, but I think Swartkorps, everybody was keyed up, everybody's ready to go, everybody was ready to prove a point. But the shortness of the Swartkorps at circuit and the narrowness of the circuit unfortunately blended itself to that type of driving.
Now, of course, the one that the public come to see, Brian, is Class A. That's where BMW and Opel meet head-on. Any other challenges coming to this class?
I wish it would be. There's been a lot of reservations spoken about as far as Class A is concerned. In fact, how can they curtail it? I don't believe we have the right to stop the manufacturers producing what they want to produce. But maybe let's attract some more, make it more interesting.
And due to the huge entry, the Western Province Motor Club, the organisers split the races into two. Here's the first one. That's for the 2 litres, 1800cc and 1400cc cars. It's a 10-lapper. Terry Moss straight away into the lead, the man on pole position. One of the finds of the Stanek Group in series this year, Grant van Schalkwyk in the privateer Opel, tucked in right behind him. And challenging behind them is John Round in the Works Volkswagen, Martinez Breers, who's sportingly lent one of his engines to Terry Moss as they come down onto the brakes down to Stanek Corner, approaching at 200 kilometres an hour. It's Terry Moss from Port Elizabeth, Grant van Schalkwyk now in the reef, ex-Port Elizabeth, Round holding that tight inside line, Martinez Breers, and there's the first of the Toyotas, and that's Dams ahead of Wyndham, and then we've got Rodney Tim just in behind them. So Terry Moss, can you see the second man? There he is, it's Van Schalkwyk again, with Round trying a bit of a daring line round the outside. Moss holds that tighter line round holds. It tightens on you as you come out of the corner, doesn't leave much room for passing. And here's problems. Keith Agliotti, he's off in the little Toyota, sets those photographers running for their lives there. But up the front there, it's still Van Schalkwyk challenging the might of the Volkswagen team. The Toyotas are right there with those 2-litre 16-valve valves. They come down towards us again. Round is now getting very daring as they go very late onto the brake. Moss holding that inside line again. Van Schalkwyk following him in the Opel and going round the outside. He's not able to do it. John Round has to settle once again for third position. He's challenging all the time. This is his home track. He won the Castrol 6-hour here a couple of years ago with Chris Aberdeen. He certainly knows Killarney very well. And it's also a very successful track there for Terry Moss from Port Elizabeth. And here's big trouble. Now that's Derek Irving, South Africa's fastest ever karter in the Albaranti. Boss has gone straight on at Holshoek, straight onto the depot, and that radiator, to all intents and purposes, is blown, and he's going to take that car into the dead car park at the end of this lap. Well, that's a great pity because Irving was one of the challenges in the early part of this race. A little further back now, Steve Wyndham has moved into a challenging position. The red headlights on the right. Damsu's got the outside line. He just holds in there. And this time, with all those judges in the corners and no bumping and barging, very few mirrors were found lying around the circuit. Damsu holds onto the line. You can see how hard they're trying. They use the track, they use the guttering. And the 1400cc class is never further apart than this. The privateer John Kruger from Cape Town was challenging the Key Delta 1400 Cub of Grant McCleary, and he was just that one car length behind. Behind him, O'Sullivan. There was Brian Late in the MRD Opel Cub there from the Transvaal for Delta Force. And McCleary holding onto that inside with Kruger, who's very quick, who's been in Stanek Group in racing a few years. He's certainly putting up a very strong challenge, and you can see how hard they're trying. They can't afford to scrub up speed. He goes up in a challenging position to try and take him through the Sabat sweep. And still Van Schalkwyk is being worried by those Volkswagen. This time Round has got through to second position. Moss holds onto the lead, Round's in second, and Van Schalkwyk has got a major job on his hands. And there's Serge Damsu still holding off his teammate from Cape Town, Steve Wyndham, in the 1400 class. It finished this way with Grant McCleary for Key Delta and John Kruger in second position. Another 10 laps as they lined up again. Volkswagen in the front. It was Moss and it was John Round, and looking through there it was Grant van Schalkwyk and Serge Damsu right up there with him. In fact, he goes into third position. This little 1600 Toyota with a 4-valve head is challenging those 2-litre Volkswagen Golf. And this time Terry Moss and John Round are starting to tear away from the pack. Grant van Schalkwyk is being challenged by the Toyotas this time. Round is even further ahead. Then it's Van Schalkwyk. And Terry Moss has broken the gear lever. He's had to leave it in one of the gears, and Serge Damsu's starting to move up into the picture. Here comes Round. Moss still in the picture. Van Schalkwyk trying an inside line, then Serge Tamsu's right there with him. And look at this other pack. There's Steve Wyndham and Mike White going a lot better this time. He's going around Holds, and they're losing it. He's really trying hard. Wyndham and White both lose it. Wyndham gets away first. Mike White has lost a lot of places, not having a happy day here at Killarney after winning at Swartkorps 2 weeks ago. And the 1400s, once again, very hard at it. Grant McCleary got the privateer, Kruger in second position. They use all the road. They can't afford to scrub off speed. And this time, Brian Late in the MRD racing for Delta Force is right there with him. And John Round is romping away with this race in front of his home crowd. Very happy with this being a very good day for Cape Town. So there's the final results. John Round for the Volkswagen team ahead of the Find, as we say, Grant van Schalkwyk. Serge Damsu does it for Toyota, and Grant McCleary for the Key Delta team ahead of John Kruger, the privateer, and the Delta Force Opel of Brian Late. The heavy metals back in action, and on pole position, Michael Briggs, number 1, on the right-hand side of your screen. Alongside him, he's got Jeff Goddard in the BMW with the red lights. This is the 10-lapper. This is pressure. Dion Joubert from Cape Town is right on their tails in that Winfield BMW. Then it's Roddy Turner. Willie Hepburn, the Rudapur Delta Super Boss, is right in there as well. Leon Marais is following him around Hulshoek, and they are going at full steam. Briggs has opened at that 2-car length. That's a lot by these standards as they come out of the Duckham's Dip and head up to the Save-At Sweep. They're up to 220 kilometers an hour as they go down the long Malmesbury Straight down to the braking marks. And Ben Morganrood has got Neil Brink challenging him a little further back in the 1600 class. Here they come at 220 plus onto the brake marks, and they're doing it very late. It's Michael Briggs. He's opened up to 25 meters. And there's Dion Joubert trying to take Goddard on the inside. He's going to let him have it. No, Goddard holds onto him as he goes around. Goddard's pushed to the outside, being challenged there by Roddy Turner. Willie Hepburn, Leon Marais, Farouk Danger's in there. And Tony Vion is certainly not having a happy day. Is in the pack and is struggling with the handling of his Winfield BMW. It's Michael Briggs, very late on the brakes. It's Dion Joubert now got into his second position as they go around Holt, and he's going to be looking for that first spot. Round Duckham's, keeping it on the island. Not so much Joubert as he goes up on the banking. Here's another challenge, the 1600cc cars. Flatting his tires as Ben Morganrood in the little Mazda EGI. He's been challenged by the Motorcroft Ford Laser of Neil Brink. Once again, full speed as they come down towards us. Looked like it's going to be a win for the Opel team that deserve it. Michael Briggs leaves it too late. He goes off down at standing corner. Dion Joubert's gone to the front. He's gone into the lead. There's Goddard. There's Roddy Turner. Willie Hepburn comes past. Leon Marais, Farouk Danger from Clarkstorp. They're all come streaming past. And it is Dion Joubert, to the great delight of the Cape Town crowd, has gone into the lead. So with John Round winning in Class B, we've got Dion Joubert doing very well in winning the Class A battle in the first round. Here's the second heat. Once again, it's the two BMWs in the front there, and Dion Joubert goes straight into the lead, followed by Goddard. Look at Farouk Danger squeezing them out, pushing his mirrors against Willie Hepburn a little further back. He's from Clarkstorp, and Michael Briggs is in there. So is Leon Marais and Roddy Turner. And further back, we've got Neil Brink in a much stronger challenging position. To the great delight of the Cape Town crowds, it's Dion Joubert in the front, but he's being challenged by Willie Hepburn. This man from the Rand who never gives up is in there, and he's really trying. There's Danger, and as they come down towards it's Joubert, and Willie Hepburn looking for an inside line in the braking with Goddard. They've knocked mirrors and doors before now, and Willie Hepburn's got it. Goddard's got to take the long road around Hulshoek. He's a chief test driver for BMW, knows these cars particularly well. And the 1600cc cars. The aggressive Ben Morganrood is holding onto his lead. He won the first race. He's being challenged not only by Neil Brink, but by Neil Stevens in the 1600cc GSI Opel. But Joubert's making no mistakes at all. But here comes Willie Hepburn on a roll, being followed by Goddard. As they come down towards us, Willie Hepburn's now starting to look for an opening. Can he do it on the brakes? He's just at half a car length behind. He's slipstream all the way down to Stanek. He's not able to do it. It's still Joubert. Willie Hepburn trying on the other side now. He's trying to go around the long route. It's not going to work for him. Goddard's waiting for him to make a mistake, and he'll be past. That little Super Boss certainly proving itself against the BMWs. They won a Swartkorps. They won the first race here. And Willie Hepburn's now back into being passed there by Goddard. He was pushed off the road at Castrol. Was lucky to keep on his wheels. He was pushed off by Dion Joubert, and Goddard now is challenging him for that second position as they go up to the Sabre-Through. Here the 1600. Watch Neil Stevens. He's just behind there, closing there on Neil Brink. But Ben Morganrood has not been headed in this class for all 20 laps, and he's staying in there. And to the great delight of the Cape Town crowds, the GTI driver Dion Joubert wins both of the races for the day for the Winfield BMW team, ahead of a hard challenging Willie Hepburn, a man who never gives it up in the Rudapur Delta Opel. Ben Morganrud takes it for Mazda, ahead of Neil Brink for Ford, and Neil Stevens, a strong challenger in the Delta Motorsport Opel.